So let's move on to what we have been watching. I guess I'll go first since I haven't really talked.
You haven't been playing anything.
This is my show.
Is it my show?
It's your hosty show.
That's funny and really personal, and I can't share it. That's hilarious.
That was a joke. That one makes me sad. You're mine.
But anyway, that's funny. That's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
That's funny. I can say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's how we have to look at it.
Oh man. So what have I been watching? A lot of Netflix, actually. So
have you been chilling when you watch Netflix?
Sadly, no. If we're talking about chilling, no. I've just been watching it.
So I do have a question. What's Hulu and chilling?
I don't know.
I was on Dallas had an answer, and I was like, oh.
I was trying to think of something funny, and I was like,
If it's really high class, is it like Amazon Prime and chilling?
Probably, because you gotta pay more money. Yeah.
I think it is sort of like a tiered system,
is there?
right?
Or it's Netflix DVD and chilling. That's like super high class. Wait, no, it's not.
Okay,
is it not?
No, I got you.
I don't know.
Way too much thought into this.
Anyway, okay, go ahead. So Netflixing.
Yeah, Netflixing. Dude, don't say it like that.
It's become a verb.
You're making me sound sad, man. No, I've just been watching Netflix by myself all the time.
Does it make you feel better?
A little bit. I watched all 3 seasons of Hemlock Grove. Did you watch it?
Oh, you need to talk to my friend who keeps trying to get me to watch that show.
Honestly, don't watch it.
I saw like the first couple episodes.
So the first season is pretty good. Okay, so Hemlock Grove, it's about it's like an expanded version of Dr. Frankenstein and that kind of universe. So there's Dr. Frankenstein, there's the monster, there's a werewolf, and there's a vampire. And they're technically a witch. In this show, it is a Romany gypsy. And it is interesting. The first season's really intriguing. And then second season, it gets a little weird. And then third season, it just goes off the deep end. You're just like, what happened here? Some of these plot lines, you're like, it's a little too far for me.
I feel like they planned for the first season, then they're like, oh crap, we have more seasons to make. Wrap something down.
Pretty much. And there's not really continuity between the second season and third season. Because you're like, what?
Are the writers the same?
Well, I mean, I guess there is continuity, but
is it the same show? Like,
it's so weird.
You're like,
it's so weird.
It's like Nurse Jackie. You're like, this is so different.
It's so weird. I don't know. I just started. I started watching. I was like, it's been on my queue forever, and I watched it. Yeah, those cues, man. Those cues.
Got a show you can put on your queue.
I know
that sounded
you do.
really bad. Sorry, I'll get that in a second.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm not attracted to men.
So it's not you, it's me?
No, technically it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're very adorable, I'm just saying. There's also... I've
heard that before, too. You're very adorable, but just not your face. Or the way I'm kind of joking.
It's kind of.
All right, go ahead.
I watched. Now I can't think of the name.
No.
I watched Iron Fist.
Okay. I heard it wasn't good.
It's bad.
Oh.
It's so bad. And then The Defenders, which is good except for the Iron Fist. I almost spilled that. If they just removed Danny Rand from The Defenders, it'd be perfect.
Oh. Is it just him or like what?
The Defenders?
I mean, I mean like.
So have you watched you haven't watched Iron Fist? Did you watch Daredevil or Jessica Jones? Okay.
Luke Cage.
None of it? Okay.
Batman,
so
Superman.
Briefly, the other shows, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, they're pretty dark. Good storylines, good character development. You're fine. It gets a little fantastic at times, but you're like in it. You expect that. They're about street level superheroes. Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm there. Iron Fist. And the acting is good. Some of the other characters you're like, I deal with bad acting in my other sci-fi shows. Yeah. Like, let's do this. I'm down. But they have really good actors in those shows. Iron Fist. I don't know who the actor is for Danny Rand, but he's not great. Oh, okay. No. It's just...
So it's the actor himself that kind of...
No, and it's the writing, too.
Oh.
It's like, for the first half of the season, it's very much like Archer. Is that it? Is it? No, not Archer.
Arrow.
Ooh, thank you.
Okay, I was like, that's a way different show than I was expecting.
Woo! It's very much like Arrow. Like, rich kid gets lost, right, with his parents. Parents die. Then he comes back 20 years later to billion-dollar company, and all of a sudden he takes over it again.
Sure, that's not Batman? I mean, did he have like...
Batman didn't get lost.
Batman never went away.
His parents died.
Yeah.
Come on.
He was lost inside.
And,
he dresses up in a bat suit. If that's not a cry for help, what is? Okay, I'm better.
So the first half of the season, first 5 episodes, you're like, okay, I'm following it, I'm good. And then, like, midway through 5th episode, it just takes a nosedive. And you're like, why am I still watching this? And I started watching it to have continuity between... To complete the set, yeah. And the whole time I was like, why am I doing this to myself?
Iron Fist are like the Destiny gauntlets to what is the Marvel Netflix universe.
No, because I don't want them. I don't want Iron Fist. I didn't need it beforehand, and now that I've watched it, I really don't need it. It's like the Defenders. I'm telling you, the Defenders would be fine without Iron Fist. As far as show-wise. I mean, storyline-wise, it wouldn't make sense if he wasn't there. But yeah, they just need...
Basically, if they're going to do like some big dramatic episode in a later series where they kill a character, it should be him.
It should be everything associated with Iron Fist, honestly. And everybody I talk to that's seen it is like, yeah, it's bad.
They could replace him with Moon Knight.
Sure, I'm down for that. What else have I been watching? So Hemlock Grove, Defenders, Iron Fist. I started to watch Black Mirror, and I haven't gotten very far.
I saw one episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
It
was awful, but I loved it.
I only watched like the first 10 minutes. They're all kind of like movie-ish long, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've only seen the first one.
I think the first one's 2 hours, right?
Each one's like standalone.
It's not that long.
How long
No,
is
it was like 30 minutes. It was a show.
The Black Mirror?
Are we talking about the same thing?
Pretty sure we are.
I think so. Was the first one about that guy and the pig?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's only half an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm looking at something else that's like an hour and a half long.
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure they're just
each episode is like its own thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't need to,
Yeah. I've only watched the first 10 minutes, but I'm intrigued.
What happened that you stopped at 10 minutes?
I was tired.
Okay.
I finished Hemlock Grove. I was like, I need
I'm gonna
something.
Start Black Mirror.
Exactly. I was like, and then I was like, I'm going to go to bed because I have to work tomorrow. That's been the biggest stuff. I mean, some stuff on cable, some trashy reality television, which I love.
How late do you stay up on average to watch things on Netflix?
Do I work the next day or no?
Both. So like what? Give me both.
So if I am like watching a series, like if I'm going through it, like 3 seasons of Hemlock Grove, I'm usually up to like possibly 2.
Okay.
And that's if I work the closing shift, which I normally have to be at work at usually like 1 or 2, so it's not terrible.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to work the next day, it could be pretty late. It could be like 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do it. Because I just get. Well, I mean, I just get in that mindset of like, I need to figure out what's happening.
So you're going at 5 or 6 p.m. and like you're.
Yeah.
Early bird special, and then just
I just knock it out. That's what happens when you're a senior, right, David? Nobody? Come on, that was a good joke. goes.
I mean, he is.
I was just sitting here thinking that Dallas is the youngin' at this table.
I was saying,
so.
you're the resident non-gamer, and he's the resident old man.
Oh.
Come on. There you go. That's how you do a high five.
Yeah. We both won 50.
Yeah.
None of this 90-10 BS you did earlier.
Right.
Watch the other podcast. You'll send
You'll get
if
it.
you agree that David was like, ooh, post in the comments below. That's what he did.
Yeah.
I was like, it's extending like this, and he's
There was
telling
no love there.
hashtag David go more than 10.
That could go
Two
so many
double
ways.
hashtag.
Could go so many ways.
hashtag. Wait, what?
Yeah.
As far as movies, I'm trying to think of what I saw since. Oh, I saw Hitman's Bodyguard. It was enjoyable.
Good balance of action and comedy.
Wait, Hitman's Bodyguard is with
Ryan Reynolds,
Ryan Reynolds.
and Samuel.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. Good. Yeah, I would agree. Good balance of action and comedy. I enjoyed it. I just went to see it randomly, and I was like, yeah, I got a free Sunday afternoon. Let me go.
You can go with anybody?
No, I didn't.
I know
Jeez,
that's not.
Alex.
I mean, like that. I was thinking maybe nobody.
What were you thinking?
Were we?
Do you want to go to the movies with me? Alex,
Well,
is that
I
what
don't know.
you're-
You've already told me earlier. You're right. Just so you know, I have to wash my hair or whatever. It's not me. It's not you. It's
It's
not
me.
me. It's you.
It's
That's
no, it's
what you
really
said.
me.
No. Anyway,
Yeah, we can go to the movies together one time.
I'll tell David about how he's not invited. Alina,
Yeah,
would you like to go?
we could do that.
I'd love to go. Sorry, David.
But I saw about
It's not your
it.
fault.
It's fantastic. I think that's all I've gone to the movies to see. Yeah, since the last time we spoke. Yeah, that's it for me. So what have
Am
you
I
been?
up?
Yes, you are up.
Ba-dun-dun.
You ready?
All right. So 2 things. Went and saw It.
Uh-huh.
Really good. Not a huge horror movie fan, but like it was really good. It's really funny. So it's kind of one of those things like you see a horror movie when the takeaway is like it was really humorous, like the interaction with the kids and the way they talk to each other. It's about the way we talk to each other here. Actually, it was really good. Like it was good. I'm actually intrigued. Hadn't seen the original, and I think everybody else saw this movie too, except for y'all 3. But it made a lot of money. It's a good movie, so I'd recommend seeing it. Like. Yeah, it's what I liked about it. So wasn't necessarily grotesque. I mean, there were a couple of scenes that are kind of like, but it's more of a psychological horror, and it's more. I don't know. It's the way it was done. It was really good. It was a really good movie. So I'd recommend seeing it.
Cool.
So it also teaches you one thing: the importance of not talking to crazy clowns in storm drains. Like just the other day, I saw one and I was like, "Hey, how's it?" And I was like, "Wait, this happened. I saw this in a movie once." And I was like, "No, thank you, clown. I appreciate the offer, but no, I'm going to have to decline." And I'm walked on.
So polite.
It saved your life.
It did. Well, perhaps. And then I've been watching, on complete opposite note, a show that we should all watch so we can talk about 13 Reasons Why on Netflix. Don't judge. It was actually very good after you watch the first episode. I can't say anything about it because I can't ruin anything, but it's a darn good movie. Darn good show. Like it's so quick premises. Does everybody know what it's about? So
yes, a little.
well,
But.
so a girl commits suicide, which is not happy, obviously, but she creates these tapes about the 13 Reasons Why, and it's basically these 13 people helped, through a series of events, helped her to where she felt like suicide was the only option. And she creates these tapes, and then they go through the kids. Like she has their past, and they have to listen to them. So basically it's like, if you're listening to this tape, it's because you're one of the 13 reasons why I did what I did. Mm-hmm. And kind of going through it. So yeah, there's some teenage angst, but just the way it's done, like I said, it definitely doesn't, like I know it was controversial, it doesn't glamorize, but it's really about how, and I think what's interesting, it's all about, the show is really about perspective and how, how things, it's not one thing that kind of caused this. It was a series of events and a series of things and, little things that start to add up that cause this decision. And it's one of those, like, I've told a couple other people about it, and they've started watching it, and they're just hooked. I mean, it's one of those shows, like, once you start it, it makes you want to finish it. So I'd recommend doing it.
How many episodes is it?
It's 13. So each one's a tape.
Cool.
So it's very good.
Cool.
And with that, I will shut up for about 3 seconds.
Man, love that silence. All right.
That's all you get.
All I get. Alina, what
me.
have you been watching?
Are we starting movies or shows?
It's wherever you want.
No, you tell me.
Dealer's choice.
Where would you like to take this?
Okay, he's been watching shows, so let's start with shows.
Okay. I watched BoJack season 4.
That's
Did
one
any of
crazy
you guys
horse.
Oh man, I really don't remember where I was. Is for the new season?
Yes.
Okay, so I was somewhere in season 3, I think.
Okay. The new season has to deal with BoJack's mom a lot. And you guys should watch it. It's really funny.
Is her name Mama Jack?
No.
No.
Her name is Butterscotch? No, that was his dad. Her name is B.
B?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, she's like has Alzheimer's. It gets really dark, and I cried like 2 or 3 times during the season. And not a lot of things can make me cry, but man, those are some real moments. It does like really funny really well, and then it does really sad and real really well. So it's kind of like you have these 2 elements of this show that just, I don't know, it's very human.
That's about the guy that has the horse face, right?
Yes.
Well, he is a
you
horse.
would, yeah.
Okay.
You
He's a
wouldn't
horse face.
think, like, they're
Well,
very,
no, I'm just saying, like, if an animated horse can make you shed, like,
See, to
man
my
tears,
knowledge,
that's, like,
This
pretty
is,
powerful.
at least I thought this was an absurd show. Isn't it an absurd show with absurd comedy, or is it just, like, it's just a horse about going through life, or like...
Yeah, it's more that than it is absurd comedy.
Okay.
What's absurd is mostly just the character designs and the world or whatever.
They never really talk about it, but basically all the animals are like people. There's a dog, there's a cat, there's an owl. Like, they act and talk like real people, but they still do animal things, like the cat will clean herself or the owl flies around, you know.
And there's humans also.
Yeah,
so it's not
also
just
humans,
animals.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's sort of like Full House, like the 90s sort of show. And I guess we haven't talked about this show. Anyway, I've been watching it for all the seasons. I don't know how I haven't talked about it yet.
He's kind of like Bob Saget.
Yeah, he's like the Bob Saget of the show, right? The dad of the 90s television show. And so when that show ends, it's like his whole career and everyone knows him from that because it was such a pop hit and all that kind of stuff. But he can't get any work and he can't, like... He's sort of like depressed and he drinks and he messes everything up for himself and all that kind of stuff, but he still has all this popularity from that old show, but it's like 30 years later and he's older and all that kind of stuff. So I think the first couple of seasons focused around him getting into this movie that he's always wanted to star in, or like this role that he's always wanted, and if that movie was ever made, like that's the role that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens and then that ends because that's like 2 seasons and then there's a 3rd season after that, after the movie, and then the 4th season. So the 4th season is mostly just, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It doesn't just focus on BoJack, which is nice. It focuses on a lot of the other characters and their stuff. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it now, but watch it. It's really good. And Will Arnett is the main.
Voice.
Amy Sedaris is also in it.
The girl from Community who's in...
Alison Brie.
Alison Brie.
Aaron, what's his name? Aaron from Breaking Bad.
Aaron Paul.
Paul is in it. And then some comedy actors like Paul F. Tompkins and some other dudes. Man, no, you guys should really watch the show, please. It's so good. That's on Netflix.
I'll start that tonight.
Do it!
And each season's only like 13 episodes.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
Are they half-hour episodes?
Yeah.
So you don't get...
It's pretty good. And the animation itself is pretty simple, but it works for the show. So
The writing is what makes that show.
Yeah.
The writing is so good. And like what some of my favorite episodes are kind of like what I call the drug episodes. So like it does like, not that I've really taken drugs in my life, but like I haven't. But
That's escalated quickly.
No, but like, you know, he takes a bunch of pills or I don't know what in the first season, and just the way they animate and write it, and it's all very like you feel weird like watching it. So the way they handle it, like all the surreal stuff, is really good. So there's like kind of like that episode in every season, and the last season, since I've already said it, has to deal with like the Alzheimer's thing. So like that's like the drug episode of the season is dealing with the Alzheimer's like subject, and it does it so like well. It's sort of awful because it feels very real. Anyway, very cool, very funny, and very got some heart moments in there. Anyway, moving away from that. As far as like, okay, so Brooklyn Nine-Nine started again. I caught up on that for the new season. Still great, still awesome, still love that show.
For 2 seconds, I was afraid they were going to do basically what they did with the previous season. Mm-hmm. Remember how the last season ended with, I forget her name, Gina getting hit by the bus? And then they just kind of came back and she was like, oh, she had cast and all that, but she was fine. And then this episode started with Jake walking into the precinct, they caught her, I'm out of jail and all that. And then it was just a dream and he really was still in jail. I was so glad
that was good.
Actually dealt with it instead of just blowing it off. But
yeah, I like that. So I'm kind of interested in where the season's going now that stuff happened with that whole thing, getting him out.
Yeah.
And then
last season ended with him and another one of the cops getting framed and thrown in jail. And the whole thing, they went through this court case, thought they figured it out, and they didn't, and they wound up going to jail in the end. So this season actually started off with them in jail and dealing with that and all that. So
it was good. Do you watch that show? Mm-mm. Really?
I know, and I never got into it.
We're like never on the same shows.
And when we are, you don't like the characters I like, so
that's okay.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, Dallas. As long as we like the same show.
Because our discussion is always like I'm emphatically talking about this character, and Alina every single time is always like, okay, sure. And I'm like, wait, why don't you like this character? She's like, because they're shitty. Excuse my language. I'm like, why would you say that? Which we'll have to talk about Game of Thrones off camera since it's not in season right now.
Yeah.
But
did that finish while we were out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did we talk about it? I feel like we always talk about it.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just can't feel my legs.
It's okay. You got room?
No, that's fine.
Just back up.
No, it's okay.
So Brooklyn Nine-Nine finished, I guess, Boku no Hero Academia. Did you end up watching that at all?
I don't. What's it on?
David. It's on Crunchyroll and Hulu.
Okay. I don't have either of those services, but
Crunchyroll's free.
Yeah, I know. I need to do Crunchyroll. Well, because they have it free and paid for, right?
Is it an anime?
Yeah, it's an anime.
Okay,
it's pretty good.
Because I had looked it up after we talked about it, and it looked pretty cool. So.
Yeah. So, that one's cool because it's like.
I just didn't want to interrupt. And it's not on my list. I tried watching Kill la Kill. Have you watched that? Mm-hmm. Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get
into it. That's fine if you don't like it.
I really tried. I liked the idea.
That's always the response. It's fine that you like. It's fine that you like that character. It's okay.
It's just. Like, I mean, when the creator of the show said, "I made the character look like that because I wanted to see girls cosplaying in that costume."
Oh, is that what he said?
That is what he said.
I did not know that.
I'm like, yeah, I don't.
Well, is it a sexy costume?
Oh, yes. Beyond that,
extremely
it's like
revealing.
Ridiculous. And it's like he knew all these people were going to want to cosplay as this anime character.
That's
so
amazing. I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
it's kind of a genius idea.
Oh, Alex. Yeah. Don't be that dude.
I'm going to start creating comics.
You're like, boy, I hope girls.
Anyway, sorry. I gave that show a shot. I watched like 4 or 5 episodes, and I was like, I can't.
It was fun. At the same time, Samurai Flamenco was coming out, and like I was pumped for Kill la Kill. My boyfriend was pumped for Samurai Flamenco, and then we switched. So like, he really loved Kill la Kill, but I still liked it, and then I was really into Samurai Flamenco.
That one's on my list. That one's on Netflix too. So.
So
that one's a ride.
He watched those 4 episodes like 18 times a piece and decided.
I probably watched that show more than he did, to be honest. I really liked it. I thought it was fun and it was funny and it was kind of what I expected from Trigger. So,
Right.
as far as animation wise,
I feel like Joe from Family
I really
Guy
get into
over
the
here.
animation. So like, if it's good in that aspect,
Yeah,
like
I'm like,
I'll forgive other things. But I don't know. I like it. What else? As far as other anime, I finished Sailor Moon Super S, which is like the 4th season of that show, and I'm finally starting Stars, which is the 5th season, the last season of it. And I know none of you have any idea what I'm talking about, except maybe some of you. I have never seen Stars before, so I was really excited about going into it, and it's a little boring.
It's always the worst.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I can't wait. I'm finally going to start this show that I haven't, like, it's been 20 years since I've had a chance to, like, no. And it's just like, oh, man. Well, I was getting bored at the end of Super S, but I've seen Super S. But I was really excited. And now I'm like, it's not that great. It's still just Sailor Moon. I don't know what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be, like, this whole new cool thing.
So wait, is Stars part of Super Sailor Moon, or is that
Yes.
something? Oh, it is.
So
Okay.
Sailor Moon's, like, the seasons are Sailor Moon R, Sailor Moon S, Sailor Moon Super S, Sailor Moon Stars.
Gotcha.
So that's season by season, just kind of how the arcs go or whatever. So yeah, Stars is like the last one.
All of a sudden, now I have the Sailor Moon theme stuck in my head, so nobody even had to say it.
And Rick and Morty, I haven't seen the last episode, but I saw the rest of it.
I still haven't seen Rick and Morty.
Any at all, or just
I-
this season?
I've seen 2 episodes. The one where they go into the like multiverse, miniverse, and they keep going down smaller and smaller and smaller. And the one where they're watching TV, and
International
that's the one where they tell
Interdimensional TV.
the sister that this wasn't their original dimension. They already died. in the
Oh,
old
that was so
dimension.
good. That one was a good one.
And then Rick and Morty died, so they came to this dimension
Right.
and replaced them or
Right.
whatever. So, and I also saw the one where the creatures kept replicating,
Okay.
and in your mind you thought they were always there, and they were trying to figure out who was fake and who
Yes,
was real.
that's a good one too.
That one was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And that's it. I've seen those 3 episodes.
Okay.
So
Uh,
it is a series I'd like to get into, but I wish it was on like Netflix or something where I could, watch it.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I thought it was going to be, like, they were going to update it on Hulu, but they haven't, so I don't know what. You can kind of watch it on Adult Swim, but some of the episodes are locked. And if you have a cable or whatever subscription, like, you just log in with that and you can watch it,
Just like on demand.
like, on the website.
Oh, I gotcha.
So they'll
Okay.
have you log into your
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
your provider, and then it's like, okay, now you have access because you have cable and whatever.
Have y'all ever watched Rick and Morty?
I have heard a lot about it in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
'Cause actually, the Mobile came to San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. I saw
I
that.
didn't end up going.
Yeah.
I was gonna go, and then I worked that day, and it was just not worth it. And then I found out that they closed it early, and it was causing a lot of traffic, and I was just like, no, I'm just gonna not. I'm just gonna not go. There wasn't anything I wanted to buy. It wasn't worth going all the way over there just to go look at Rick in car form. So
On 4 wheels.
So I didn't go. Yeah, that fandom is weird.
Cool. What movies have you been watching?
Oh yeah, Blade Runner. Sorry, I'm not done. I guess I've been doing lots of things. So.
You have been.
I know. I've
Which
such a
is
long
it's
list.
a nice change of pace because I think every once in a while it's like, oh, I'm not doing that much. Alex isn't doing that much. David's watching stuff.
David has a somewhat decent
He
list
always
of
usually
things.
has a
Yeah,
good
that's
list.
true.
And then it just, it rotates. So
See.
it's your time.
It's mine.
Yes. So Blade Runner.
Okay, so Blade Runner.
You like it? Is it a good
Yeah, I'm really curious
sequel?
about this.
Okay, so how many of you have watched the original?
Pah! It's in my top 5 movies of all time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Original Blade Runner is so good, which is why I'm so skeptical about this movie.
Okay.
There's your
Lee
answer.
is not a fan of the original Blade Runner.
So,
You don't like the original Blade Runner?
So I think Matt got the movie for a few birthdays ago. His friends got it for him, like this whole nice. It comes in a briefcase and it has like all this stuff in it. And at the time, he's like, I'm not even really like that big of a Blade Runner fan. I just love cyberpunk. So, but I think it kind of grew on him, like the more he watched it or whatever. And the history's kind of neat about that movie. Like now that he showed me a lot of research on like whatever. watched a lot of videos on it and stuff like that. I have awful movie recollection. So if you ask me if I've seen a movie, I'll be like, maybe. I don't remember anything from it.
Right.
That's basically every movie I've ever seen. Unless I've seen it like 3 times.
Right.
Or really, really attached to that movie. So I was like, I don't remember anything that happens in this movie. And the movie's coming out soon. I know you want to go see it. So I have to watch Blade Runner Original again. So I did. I was like, let's go see the movie on this day. When I get home from work, I will watch the movie, and then we will go to the movie theater to go see the new one. Man, I had to resist falling asleep like 4 times.
So I'm also curious, which version did you watch?
We watched the director's cut.
So
The last version?
the most recent version?
Yes, the one without voiceover.
Which is better because the voiceover is not.
Yeah, I've heard it's so bad.
There's like 3
I
or
heard
4
some
different
clips
versions of
from
this movie.
those. And what other versions?
So the big thing is, in some versions, they're like, Deckard is a replicant.
Oh, right.
And then in most of the best version,
Yeah.
the most recent version, they're like hinting, maybe.
Okay,
He's a
it's
replicant.
the maybe
Maybe
one
he's not.
with the unicorn
Yes.
BS scene.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. It's that.
With a young Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
Well, he still doesn't look young, but
No.
he is young. He looks the exact same he does now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like, the world and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
And come on, the speech he gives when he's dying at the
that
end.
one, I mean, that scene is really good.
So good.
And I've seen, I think Red Letter Media did a rewatch or whatever, and, they were talking about it too, but, he's sort of the best actor in it. Harrison Ford doesn't even really do that great,
I mean, yeah.
And some of his choices, I think, in some of the scenes were just
But and the thing with Harrison Ford in that movie is we'd seen him in Star Wars at that point, Empire Strikes Back, and we'd seen him in the first Indiana Jones movie. He's kind of a badass in those movies. That's not necessarily what he's supposed to be in this. He's a cop, he's a detective, but he's not necessarily a badass. So
Right.
him getting beat up a lot, I don't know, it worked for me. But
No, that was fine. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just some other things. Anyway, not I don't think it was the greatest movie.
plus, I know some people don't like the soundtrack. I love that 80s.
Oh, I love
heavy
that.
synth
No, that's
soundtrack.
great. I love that
Good stuff.
soundtrack. It was awesome. I like things about it. I like the world and that. I like those sort of scenes too. But I don't know. It was just boring. The plot was very simple, but the way they went about it was just sort of why is this so drawn out?
The new
It's a
one or
long
the old
movie.
one?
The old one.
The old one.
The new one is awesome. It's freaking however long it is, 3 hours. It did not feel like 3 hours. And we saw it IMAX, so that was pretty cool. But
It's not 3D, right? Just IMAX.
no, I don't think so. But I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. All over, storytelling wise, writing wise, acting wise, everything was really good. So, yes, thumbs up all around.
So
Go
yes,
see
yeah.
Blade Runner.
And unfortunately, I know it's not doing well at the box office.
No.
It's disappointing.
I mean, Blade Runner original was sort of like a cult hit,
Yeah,
right?
it was the same thing. It
was
didn't do very well
after,
either,
yeah.
and then it got popular afterwards, home release and all that.
Yeah,
So
I think people should watch it. I think they do some really cool stuff with this movie.
cool. I want to.
I hope you like it.
I hope so too.
Because I enjoyed it
Cool.
very much.
Anything else, movie-wise?
I think that's it.
That's
I
it?
don't think I've seen anything else movie-wise. I haven't
Okay.
been in the movies recently.
Yeah. So that brings us to you, David.
All right. So first off, like you said, go see it. Once you have a young child, you don't get to the movie theater very much. So I haven't seen anything in the movies. I'm going to go kind of quickly because I feel like we're running long. I know we're running long.
Oh, yeah, we're over an hour.
Okay, so
Sorry.
I want to mention this first because I know y'all saw. I finally saw Wonder Woman. I actually have it.
Did you like it?
Yes,
Good.
See?
I knew I would.
haven't-
I mean, I
still
was
haven't
pretty sure I
seen it.
would. I definitely liked it a lot. The best scene is that scene in the middle of the movie where no man's land, crossing that thing in the
You think that's the best scene?
Oh, that is the best scene. That's like the pump to get into its scene. You know what I'm talking? Have you seen it? You haven't seen it? Did you saw it?
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
it.
you know what I'm
Okay.
talking about? You know where they're in the trenches and they're like, "That's no man's land."
Oh,
so
yeah,
of course,
yeah.
Wonder Woman's able to go across, and they
It's
like,
like, we have to help those people.
yeah,
I'm not spoiling anything.
no.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good scene. I don't know if it's the best one.
I think it's the best one. My only problem with that movie was sort of the ending. Was like, and all this stuff is happening, and we're gonna like. I felt no emotion about how it ended. I don't want any spoilers, but
I know you're talking about
you know what I'm
certain
talking about?
actions
Yeah.
that characters took.
Yeah.
Okay.
No emotional whatever. Like even sometimes the Marvel movies, certain things happen. I'm not like oh god, but you feel some emotion. Oh, this character died, or this happened to this character. Like in the most recent one where you find out what's his face killed what's his face's parents, and you're like, oh, it's going down. But anyways, I didn't feel any kind of emotion at the end with characters who survived, characters who didn't survive, and all that kind of stuff. I just felt like it wasn't very well handled to me. I don't know. And I knew who the final boss, the big battle was going to be against, and I had figured out earlier in the movie who it was going to be. I don't know if that was a great casting, but again, it's not that I had like a real problem with it, but that was my only issue with the movie. The ending I felt like could have been better. So. And I really liked the opening scenes on the island and all that. That was really cool. So, but anyway, so I finally got to see that. TV shows. Oh, I do want to mention this on Netflix. It's Netflix exclusive in the U.S. I think it might be in Japan too. Dad of Light. I think we talked about this on one of the other podcasts. It's the story about the kid. He and his dad weren't very close, but at one point in their lives, they played Final Fantasy 3 together, and they had this bonding experience. But then he and his dad grew apart. They like never talk, and he's like in his early 20s. Still lives at home, and I think that's kind of common in Japan. If you're not married, you live with your parents, kind of thing. He has his own area. Anyways, his dad suddenly quits his job, and he doesn't know why, but they don't talk, so he's trying to figure it out. So he buys his dad a PS4 and a copy of Final Fantasy 14, and he gets his dad into it. Then he'll go to his room and log in, and he finds his dad in the game, and then like plays with him in the game, but the dad doesn't know it's him. So it's like his way of trying to like bond and connect to his dad and get him to open up and tell him what's going on and all this stuff. And it's interesting. It's only 8 episodes, I think.
So that sounds really sad and depressing.
Well, it sounds super sad, and that's why I would be excited for it.
It's really kind of interesting, and the show bounces back and forth between real world and then their adventures in the game. So no doubt they had some kind of big deal with Square Enix, because I mean there's a lot of footage stuff going on in the game, and I don't know how they did it, like, because the camera angles would change and stuff, like more like a show or movie inside the game. So I don't know exactly how you do that, but it wasn't bad. My issue is it's pretty corny.
Okay.
And the main kid or guy, young guy, whatever, he's not the world's greatest actor, and I feel like the part of the reason they got him is he has really big eyes and he's super expressive. So like every time something happens, I mean, it's almost like an anime where it's like a super overreaction, like and like he has like that face that's perfect for like feeling the emotions and stuff. But as an actor, he's okay.
I feel like that happens with a lot of Japanese like real shows.
Yeah, maybe. And I haven't watched a lot of live action Japanese stuff. And it is all in Japanese. I don't know if there's an option to watch it in English, but I watched it, subtitled and all that. It wasn't bad. I mean, it's really 8 episodes. Really, it's 7 episodes, but there's an 8th episode at the end that it's half recap, half story about another character that you don't really need to watch it, but it's like, okay. But it's not bad. And there are some emotional moments as he does finally kind of get close to his dad and all that kind of stuff. And like issues will happen in the game or how he's trying to convince his dad while something's going on in his job that then relates back, and he's like, oh, okay, I can use that experience to relate to this experience, or like I said, if you have nothing else to watch, it's not bad. Or if you're a big Final Fantasy 14 person, you can but,
cool.
Anyway, so the other thing I want to talk about was I am watching Orville.
Oh, yes! I started that
on
yesterday,
Fox,
actually.
And I watched the first episode of Star Trek.
Discovery?
Yes, or whatever it's called. Yeah, whatever the new one's called.
Yeah, it's Discovery.
I say I watched the first episode.
Why does he doubt me?
Because I don't remember what it's called.
Whatever it's called. Discovery? Whatever it's called.
Like, nope, pretty much called Discovery.
It wasn't good enough for me to, turn around and pay for the CBS On Demand to watch the rest. I'm hoping what I can do is after the whole series is aired, do the 7-day free trial and marathon it and not have to pay for it. But Orville, which has been billed as a comedy, feels more like Star Trek than the Star Trek show did.
I was going to say, so I'm 3rd episode of Orville right now. At first, I was like, oh, if Galaxy Quest and Star Trek had a baby, it'd be Orville.
That's the perfect description.
Yes, but it's not funny. And I mean that in the best way possible. Because there's a lot of heart in it.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of a bit serious. And they touch on, like, a lot of social issues and conversations. Like, there's this one, I think it's third episode, whichever episode I just watched, where the captain and his first mate, which they said this in the trailer, is his ex-wife. They get captured and they're put in a zoo of all these different species by a higher species, or a species that believes they are higher. And then they make the comment of like, yeah, humans did that to animals because we thought we were superior at one point, hundreds of years ago. Wasn't meant to be cruel, but it was. You're like, whoa, wasn't expecting that commentary right now.
There's a lot of different things like that. Yeah, it's interesting. Like because originally I thought it was going to be a parody of Star Trek. It's not. It's almost like if Star Trek was more of an action comedy, then like most of the series were more of an action drama, right?
Okay.
Almost more heavy drama, less action, right? So I will admit sometimes the comedy feels too forced. When they try to put a joke in there, it feels awkward. Now the most recent episode that I watched, I don't know if the one where they infiltrate a krill ship, have you seen that one yet?
Yes.
Where they use the holograms to disguise themselves?
No, I haven't seen that one.
A lot of the humor in that one felt very organic. Like it was very well built into, like the god they find out that they worship is called Avis, and the one guy's like, "Do you think we should tell them that their god is named after a car rental company from the 20th century?" And just little things like that are more natural than just like throwing out like some random joke here.
Some zingers.
Yeah. But I was really surprised because the first episode had a lot more action and drama than I was expecting, you know. And yeah, there's jokes of the ex-wife and all that kind of stuff. But I think, Alina, I think you would like it.
So what is it? What's the origin of it? Like what?
It's like
it's
Seth
MacFarlane from
Fox
Family Guy
on Thursday night.
It's live action. It's on Thursdays. It was on Sunday when it first premiered, but that was just to get viewers after football games. Yeah, it's a live action. The intro is straight Star Trek. It feels like exactly like Voyager or any of those. Like it has the ship flying by comets and the music and everything.
So it's not Star Trek. It's just sort of in the vein of Star Trek.
Okay, have you seen Galaxy Quest though?
No.
Okay, let me scrap that. Okay, so yeah, in the vein of Star Trek, but with a little bit of humor from Seth MacFarlane.
Okay.
It doesn't take itself quite as seriously, but it definitely has serious moments.
I mean, coming down to the uniforms, you're like, this is Star Trek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And even the positions, you have the first captain, first commander, head of security, the pilot, the navigator. It's just
there's a robot.
Yeah, the bridge is set up just like
Yeah.
So it's
very much modeled after, but
its own thing.
Yeah. I think if it was more comedy as they build it before, it'd definitely be a standalone. Be like, oh, okay, I see where they were going. They just wanted to do their own thing, but right now it's like, it's good. I'm enjoying it, but it's definitely like a new Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, so I watched that first episode of Star Trek. So the new Star Trek series takes place within the continuity of the TV series, not the movies. And it takes place between the Enterprise show and the original series. So it's still like old school, but the show is designed and looked like and shot like the movies. So it's very modern and it's very lens flare-ish and, very J.J. Abrams, right? So it doesn't feel like any of the old series. And it was super action heavy and it just didn't have that Star Trek feel. And I don't know, it's just the special effects. The special effects in Orville actually are quite good for a series that I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of. And of course, Star Trek looked really, really good. But yeah, Orville feels more like Star Trek than Star Trek does. Now, I've heard from some friends online who've been actually watching it on the CBS app or whatever. They did say like episode 3 or 4 it starts to feel a little more like Star Trek, but I'm just like that first episode, didn't do it for me. It didn't feel like Star Trek. So it'd be worth watching if I could, but I don't want to pay for it.
Is that the only way you can watch it?
Yeah. That's CBS's thing is you can watch the first episode online. It ends in a big cliffhanger, and then it was like, you can watch it on TV. Ends in a big cliffhanger. And it's like, hey, you want to see the rest of it? The second episode's already available on the app. Go pay for it. So
So wait, can you not watch? So are they not going to air it on TV?
Not airing on TV. It's just on the app, and you have to pay. And you have to pay $5 or $6, right, monthly. But if you want it without commercials, you got to pay $10.
Wow.
So it's like you're already paying, and you're still getting commercials. Unless
It's
you pay
for
the higher one, so.
CBS All Access, so you get all of their shows.
Yeah, you get all their stuff, but Star Trek is
But who cares about
only, yeah. I can go watch all the CSI
All those-
reruns.
All those Big Bang Theory fans.
NCIS or whatever. Anyway, so that was my takeaway. I think you would really like Orville.
Okay.
You may actually like it.
Okay.
It's pretty good, and I'm sure it's on demand on like regular cable, and you can
Oh, yeah.
probably get it on
That's
the
how
app,
I'm watching
the
it.
Fox
Okay.
app. So,
Cool.
anyways, that's pretty much it. The other thing I was going to mention, I've been watching Inhumans and Gifted. Gifted is the Fox X-Men TV series, and Inhumans is connected to all the other Marvel stuff. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of Inhumans. That's what aired in the movie theater.
Okay.
It was better than what the internet has made it sound like, but I didn't love it. I'm going to keep watching it, and then Gifted's actually been pretty interesting. Plus, I'm having fun. I haven't read anything online about it, so I'm having fun trying to figure out, since X-Men comics is what I collected, trying to figure out, okay, I think that's that character, and that's going to be that character before they even say their names, based on their powers and stuff.
Yeah.
Gifted did look pretty.
It's pretty solid. I've only seen the first episode. I think the second episode's just aired. I don't know. I haven't watched the second one yet, but...
Which is the one that's coming out that looks like spooky horror?
So they just had a trailer for New Mutants,
That's.
which had a horror edge to it.
I
Yeah.
want to see that.
The Gifted is New Mutants coming. Well, it's New Mutants. Is like mutants that are first like discovering their powers, and they form this sort of underground thing. But the X-Men have disappeared, so it's like younger, newer X-Men type characters. Some are made up for the show, but a lot of them are taken from the comics. Okay. So,
cool.
Anyways, like I said, I'm only 1 episode into each of those, so I don't have a whole lot of opinion on them. But I love this age of superhero stuff. So. That's it for me.
Cool. We got through it. Only took us about an hour 20 minutes.
Yay!
This is what happens when we don't get together for a month and a half.
We'll try to keep it to a half hour in the future.
Yeah. Well, we can cut this up in 2 parts, right?
We could actually.
Yeah.
That would
Part one, part
make it
two.
easier to upload.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it wouldn't put so much pressure on you guys. But anyway, this has been an episode of What You've Been Watching, What You've Been Playing, with the Searching For Players, the players of the Searching For Players. I'm Dallas, Alex, Alina, David. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.